All right, guys, if you guys clicked on this video, you want to learn how to build AI agents with n8n. However, if we do this, we're going to run into a couple of problems. And those problems are that hosting your agents on n8n can get expensive. So you need somewhere to run your AI agent, and doing it on n8n is a little bit spendy. The other thing you could do is you could self-host it, but this is highly technical and really hard to do if you're a non-technical person like myself. It's kind of out of the picture. Here is the solution. I'm going to show you a very easy way to host your own AI agents. And this is a one-time setup, so it's very easy. Do this for all of your agents after you set it up one time. Along with that, this is going to cost 70% less than hosting on n8n. So you're going to save a lot of money while doing this. If that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to go ahead and show you this solution now and then begin building out our AI agent with n8n. All right, so we're going to be using Hostinger to actually host our n8n. And I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up in this video. They're kind enough to sponsor this, but I think this will genuinely save you so much money. It's so simple to set up as opposed to self-hosting or hosting on n8n. So click on the link in the description. You're going to see this VPS hosting plan here. So I'm going to click on choose your plan. We're going to choose the KVM2 plan. This should be more than enough for us. Next up, I'm just going to click on 12 months here, which looks like it's going to be $8 per month. I'm going to add a coupon code here, which is going to just be capital Brock. That's going to take our total down from $215 here to $86 for a whole year of hosting. Next up, we're going to come over to application. We're going to select n8n, click on continue, and we're going to make sure to register our account. Next up, we're just obviously going to put in our billing information here. Here, we're just going to add our card information. So I'm going to add my name. I would add my number here, and then just basically click submit payment, and then you should have access to your account. All right, so once this is done, we'll get this message here. It looks like it's done. I'm going to click on manage VPS. As you can see, this is a n8n VPS plan right here. Let's manage our app. And this is going to take us directly to n8n user interface, but this is hosted on the Hostinger cloud. As you can see here, we need to just add our information. Make sure to sign up with your account if you already have one. If you don't, sign up. It'll be really simple to do so. And there we go. Next up, what we're going to do is I'm going to click on start from scratch, where we're going to start building our AI agent. And as you can see, this is the full n8n platform now inside of Hostinger. So now we don't have to touch anything. This is all good to go thanks to Hostinger. So one great thing about n8n is I actually have some great templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to these templates here, and I'm going to select one that I think would be pretty useful for a specific use case for myself, and then build upon this. All right, this is a pretty practical one that I think anybody could use. So qualify new leads in Google Spreadsheets via OpenAI's ChatGPT 4. So let's use this free template. I'm basically going to copy the template. I'm going to come here. I'm literally just going to paste to this user interface. And now we have this preset workflow inside of our n8n platform. However, now we need to actually do a couple things and actually connect these credentials in order to have these connected to our actual apps. All right, guys, before I actually set up these credentials, let's just explain quickly what this automation is and how this progression works. So this is when a new row is added to a Google spreadsheet. So essentially, we have a existing automation to where whenever somebody fills out a form, like a lead qualifying form, it then populates a Google spreadsheet with this information. From there, once a new row is added with a new lead, it then goes to the OpenAI ChatGPT step, which will then actually take this content here and then do some research based on this user. From there, it's going to extract the JSON reply. It will now merge, and then it will actually populate this with the status of the lead here. So it'll say whether it's qualified, whether it's not qualified, based on the configuration here inside of the ChatGPT step. All right, so now we need to actually set up our authentication. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. Don't worry, I'm going to explain this very simply. Once it's set up, it's ready to go. So do not worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on create a new credential inside of our Google Sheets. And from here, I'm going to come to Google Cloud Console. So just look up Google Cloud Console and it will take you here. You're going to create a new project. So I'm going to create a new project here. Let's just call this n8n build. Going to click create. And then you can see here, it's going to create this project. So let's click select project, or you could come up here and select it. From here, there's some things we need to configure. So let's come over to, actually, first of all, we're going to look up Google Drive API. We need to enable this. So I forgot to do this and I was trying to figure out what the problem was. And it was because of this, I didn't enable it. So let's enable our Google Drive API. Simple enough. That should be good to go. Next up, we're going to enable our Google Sheets API. So this allows you to access the API of Google Sheets, obviously. So let's come back now, and then we're going to come to APIs and services. Let's go to OAuth consent screen, click on get started here, and let's give our app a name, n8n build, add our support email. So whatever email you're using, we're going to click on external for our audience. And again, let's just add another email here and agree, continue, click create. This is all looking good so far. Next up, we actually need to add a test user in order to access this in n8n. So come here, click on audience. We're going to add test user, or actually we need to actually set up a client ID first. So click on client application type. Let's go web application, give it a name, and let's now add a authorized redirect URL. And this is inside of our n8n workflow, inside of Hostinger where it's hosted. We're basically going to paste that there and then click on create. Next up, we're going to get prompted with our client ID and our client secret. So paste your client ID back into our n8n Google credentials here. Do the same for your secret. That's good to go. We could click save. Next up, what we want to do is we want to click on sign in with Google. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to come to audience. We need to add a test user. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to add in an email for my n8n account. There we go. Going to now sign in with Google. I'm going to sign in with this account here. Click on continue, and we need to select access to all of this so n8n could have access to it. And now it says our connection is successful. Now we need to test this and see if it's actually working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the document here, and it should now populate our Google spreadsheets we have. So that is fantastic. You can see I created a spreadsheet called Google Sheets. And let me show you this exact Google Sheet I am talking about. So we titled this leads, and this is essentially just a leads list here that has been auto-populated from when people fill out a Google form with the name, email, business area, size of the team. So we're now going to qualify these leads here with this next step in ChatGPT, and then we will be pasting that back into our Google Sheets here. So let's come next to the ChatGPT step. I'm going to double click here. We need to add our credentials here, which is simple. We just need to get our API key from OpenAI. So let me do that. I'm going to actually just look up ChatGPT or look up OpenAI API. Come here, and you should be able to find this on this page here if you click API reference. So let me paste mine now. Obviously, don't show anybody your API key. Let's paste it there. Save. And so now it should have access to our ChatGPT, so we could begin using this step. And since we pasted this template, we already have this content here, which is essentially our prompt to ChatGPT. So we could use any ChatGPT we want, ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 4.0, whichever we want, but let's just go ChatGPT for this specific use case here. And basically, we need to configure a little bit of information here. So here's a leads info, and this is going to be pasted into ChatGPT, so that way we get a specific response. So we added the name. However, we need to delete all of these steps here because this is mock data. There we go. Next, what we need to do is we need to come back to our Google Sheets step. We need to click this for our time. Let's do every hour. So it's going to survey this sheet every hour. And what we need to do now, we need to click which sheet, and let's click fetch test event, and it should now pull this information from the Google Sheet. So you can see it's populated from here. That's absolutely good to go. And we can now come back to our OpenAI step. We need to now, or you could see the input from our previous steps are here now. So let's populate this with this information. So I'm going to drag and drop this dynamic JSON name as well as the email, business area, and then the size of the team. That's all good to go. Next up, all we need to do is actually click on test step, and it should give us an output here. So there we go. Here's a message here. So it gives our rating explanation here. So it's qualified. Here's the explanation, the lead, Ava Chen, main criteria by being a decision maker. So as you can see here, this is the prompt that we gave it. So you could specify this however you want in order to decide what is a qualified lead. However, this is what I used for this. You could edit this. So your task is to qualify incoming leads. Leads are form submissions to a closed community group. Use the following criteria for a quality lead. So if they hit both of these things here, then that means that they're qualified. So that is good to go. Again, you could change this to whatever you want for your specific use case. However, now we have this information. We need to now paste this information back into our Google Sheet. Next up, we need to extract the JSON reply. So let's test this step. This worked. Here is the reply here. Next up, we need to merge these, which we don't need to touch that actually. So next we need to actually create our credential again. So basically copy the information from the previous step actually. Or we could actually come back into our Google Cloud. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to client. I'm going to click on our name here. So let's copy the client ID as well as our client secret. Let's save it. All right, we just need to sign in with our account here as before. Click on continue. Authorize that. So the connection should be successful now. And we want to make sure to test our previous steps so we could get this information here from the merge. So once we're in here, there's a couple things we need to do. So we need to actually map a couple of fields. First of all, we need to select our document. So I'm going to click on the leads, which is this, obviously this spreadsheet here that we want to populate the reply with. Click on the sheet, which is sheet 1. We want to click map automatically. And then for this, we want to go to size of your team. And then let's test this step. And here we go. Here is the reply here. And so this is the reply with the lead qualifying that the ChatGPT step actually did. And so this should now be populated here. So you can see there's this reply isn't great. It doesn't look perfect, but however, now we actually have a qualified explanation of our leads here. So the lead Ava Chen meets the main criteria by being a decision maker with a team of 5 in her marketplace. Additionally, the email is from a non-standard domain, indicating a corporate domain, which satisfies the second criteria. So there we go. We created an agent inside of n8n that now automatically will qualify our leads that actually sign up for a form and are added to a Google spreadsheet. So there we have it. Not only that, but we now have this hosted on Hostinger, which makes it really easy to do so. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.